I see AOC is still fighting with her supporters. Can't say I'm particularly happy about this. Why are you doing this? Google is free. If you're saying I voted for military funding, you are lying. Receipts attached. Drag me for my positions all you want, but lying about them doesn't make you part of the left. If you believe neo-Nazis are welcome and operating in good faith, you can have them. Oh no, it's contra-posting. Ah! Yeah, why is she insinuating that Al Green, Summer Lee, Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib are all collaborating with neo-Nazis? She's getting ready for her Why I Left the Left arc. Why are we doing this? Yes, she voted no on the bill, but she voted against Marjorie Taylor Greene's amendment, which would have cut a provision that dedicated some money from the Defense Department to the Iron Dome. And the reason she said she did this is because she doesn't, essentially, she said she doesn't have a problem with supporting funding for the Iron Dome. She said this before. It's just pro-Iron Dome posting. That's it. It is a symbolic vote. Symbolism matters. And now she's pretending that people think that she voted for yes, voted yes on the overall spending package, which is not what this is about. It's about AOC essentially voting in favor of the concept of Iron Dome spending, which is bad. No, I don't think we should pay for Israel's defense. Protesters threw red paint in her office. I know. I'm aware. Everyone's posted it. I know. We're doing one thing, then another thing. We have a temporal, we have the line we have to follow to get through information.
An investigation is underway after someone vandalized Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign office in the Bronx.
Yeah, someone dumped red paint on the roll-down gate with a sign that says AOC funds genocide in Gaza.
It would be really nice if people were willing to do this to Richie Torres's office as well. Like, why? It's always the most left person you can go after. Why not everybody else? I think that AOC is bad for what she's done, and frankly, I think she deserves the red paint here. Just you have to be consistent. I think it would hit a little bit harder if this red paint was getting splashed on everyone's door, including AOC's anyway, because this just makes it blur into the haze of people who have a specific beef with AOC, which kind of delegitimizes the point. Wouldn't it make more sense if AOC got thrown into the same camp as Richie Torres, right? Where then it's like, oh my God, I'm getting treated as one of him, or one of these crazy Zionist types, But AOC gets so much hate directed specifically at her that it makes it seem like the critiques are disingenuous. My critiques are genuine because for the most part I've been an AOC defender and I am consistent in my criticisms. That being said, AOC taking the Twitter to argue with people, to argue in bad faith, to say if you people are being dishonest in these criticisms, I don't know what she's doing here. I don't understand.
Witness News anchor Joe Torres is live in Westchester Square with more on that investigation. Joe.
Lauren, there is considerable and widespread agreement here in Westchester Square that no matter what political position you might have, your stance, what side of the aisle, if you're looking to make a statement, this is not the way to do it, through vandalism and the defacing of public property. According to police, it was about 12:40 this morning when this vandalism happened. And
I blocked with my camera. Beep beep.
The police, it was about 12:40 this morning when this vandalism happened.
The cop shining the flashlight and the cat threat assessment, meow. We got him.
Vandalism happened, and at that hour there was no one inside the campaign offices of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, located here at the corner of Herschel Street and Westchester Avenue. And as you mentioned, it wasn't just the red paint that you
scared AOC might become another Fetterman. No, don't be stupid, okay? Fetterman is a mentally damaged, compromised, agent of Mossad, basically. He's an AIPAC guy, all right? AOC is not. The problem with AOC is that, in my opinion at least, she's not very good at back-end wheeling and dealing, and she's capitulated on certain issues, in my opinion, again, for the hopeful future benefits that have not arrived. She has not gotten any insider cred. She has not wormed her way into power. She has not traded the compliance on some issues for benefits in other areas. It seems like she's just capitulating. Also, her consistent defense of funding the Iron Dome is pretty indefensible. Again, you can't say you just want to prevent loss of life and then give a bulletproof vest to a school shooter. You can't give anti-air cannons to Nazi Germany. You can't, you just want to prevent the death of German civilians. Well, maybe that's up to Germany, by not doing the war then, in my opinion. You know, I think that the responsibility should lay with the German government.
See on the exterior and the window. Vandals also put up a sign that read AOC funds genocide in Gaza. Earlier this morning, we had a chance to talk to her.
I think that's defensible. I think that's a defensible claim. If you are principally in favor of funding the Iron Dome, I think you are funding genocide. One of the reasons Israel gets away with doing whatever they want is because there are no consequences. We supply them their weapons. They get, you know, free education and healthcare or whatever. We pay for their expensive missile defense system. We literally shield them from the consequences of their warring with neighboring states. It doesn't matter if the Iron Dome is being used defensively. Raghav Patel 405. You can't give defensive weapons to the warring genocidal ethno-state either, you know?
Campaign manager here at the location. He told us because of this and some threats made yesterday at an event in Plattsburgh, New York, as well as more threats today, the Congresswoman pulled out of her scheduled news conference and her appearance this morning in Jackson Heights. Now the focus centers on tracking down the vandals.
Ooh. We see a lot of this stuff. We're going to review our cameras and that of the building too. We've been in touch with the landlord and folks, and you know, same thing. We have a lot of folks who have been reaching out, volunteers who want to come help and clean up, so they'll be doing that. I just got here, so I don't know if there's anything additional beyond this, but you know.
Elle takes she literally voted against it. She voted against the overall defense spending, but she did not vote in favor of Marjorie Taylor Greene's proposed amendment, which would have stripped the Iron Dome specifically of $500 million of allocated funding. The implication to this being, and it's not just an implication, AOC has explicitly stated this. She has said she does not mind, she doesn't have an issue with, she supports Iron Dome funding. She voted against the bill, but in both the implication of her vote against MTG's amendment and also in her explicit description of her own behavior, she has said she's okay with funding the Iron Dome. She's done this before. She has said in interviews that she supports funding the Iron Dome. It's not like it's not an implication thing. It is dishonest of AOC to pretend that the criticism here is her voting in favor of the defense spending, because that's just not what's happening here.
All right. Number one priority is making sure people are okay.
And as you can see, the NYPD on the scene here in Westchester Square, and part of their investigation will certainly focus on what, if any, images were captured by the cameras that are located on the exterior of the building here. And then the campaign manager also told us they have their own camera system on the inside. They'll be scouring through those recordings to see what, if anything, was captured by those cameras. No vandalism reported inside the office. As for the Congresswoman herself, her campaign manager told us we can expect an official statement from her later today.
Fun. From CBS.
6:05 right now. Developing this morning, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign office was vandalized overnight. Police say they responded to a
even if that amendment was added to the bill, voting for the bill would have been morally unjustifiable because it was a fascist bill. What was she supposed to do? Vote yes on the amendment and no on the overall spending, which is what other members of the squad did. That's what Al Green, Summer Lee, Rashida Tlaib, etc., did. You vote yes on the amendment to indicate you do not want to give money to Israel, and then you vote no on the overall spending because you just don't want to support the bill.
911 call just after midnight at her Herschel Street office in the Bronx. When officers arrived, they found the front of the building splashed with red paint and a sign accusing the Congresswoman of funding genocide in Gaza. No arrests have been made. The investigation is underway.
But there's zero difference in outcomes between the two. Her opinion doesn't matter. She's a public figure. Her opinion matters. Don't be a liberal. She's an enormously popular politician. Her ability and her willingness to take public stands on issues like the morality of Iron Dome funding is hugely important. It's massively important. She's one of the most popular Democratic figures, possibly the most popular in the country in terms of like overall support and outreach. Yes, it matters when she's saying publicly, which she said, again, explicitly in her words, she supports Iron Dome funding. No, defensive aid also needs to be halted, Liz Falling Up. Israel should get no aid. You can't give bulletproof vests to a school shooter. I know this user is insane. The Squirrel? Oh yeah, this Twitter user is insane. However, on this issue, she is sure to have receipts on AOC. She probably has a massive archive of this sort of thing.
I would say that the United States, our responsibility is to the stability and the security of the region. That means being able to support, yes, Israel in its defensive capacities, right? In its ability, in that context.
All of us support strengthening the Iron Dome and other defense systems. We are committed to a sovereign, safe, and secure future for Israel. Yeah, she said this publicly before. It's not, this wasn't from like yesterday. This is older, but she said this for years. Ever since that one time she voted against Iron Dome funding and Pelosi had a talking to with her. And she's like arguing with people over it. It was 422-6. It was a nothing burger. I don't think you want, again, the message, the stand that you take matters. Why do you defer back to bad arguments when you're defending people that you like? Do you think it would be okay to vote against provisions for civil rights? Like, imagine it was a different issue that Democrats were overwhelmingly supportive of. Imagine 65% of Democrats believed in more civil rights, the end of Jim Crow for Black Americans, and a bill was put through Congress that was very unlikely to pass. Do you think that an extremely popular Democratic politician who has the ability to vote in favor of that civil rights bill should vote no just because what? Because voting yes wouldn't get it to pass? Don't you think that voting yes on such a bill might give her the opportunity to showboat a bit and direct more people's attention towards the issue, thus increasing the likelihood in the future that it passes? Do you think it'd be okay to vote for the bill if it added the amendment? No, and that's not at all what matters. You're not understanding. It's not about whether or not the bill passes. You're fundamentally misunderstanding the point. It's about demonstrating support for an issue. Don't you understand politicians do that? That's most of what politicians do. It's not like anyone in Congress is getting any bills passed. I mean, you got the big, beautiful bill out and through, but apart from that, these people, their jobs are pretty easy, you know? Politics is about the popularity of issues. It's about the ability to advocate for what you believe in. AOC saying she supports funding the Iron Dome is bad. But isn't this the force the vote argument? No, because I don't think the force the vote argument would have, that would have been using leverage for something bad. I don't think it would have changed anything. Now, I do think that if a vote comes up for supporting Medicare for all, people who support Medicare for all should vote in favor of Medicare for all. I don't believe in holding up the appointment of a Democratic House Majority Leader in order to force that vote, because the forcing of the vote isn't what matters. The vote here was already being forced. What matters is voting the correct way when the vote is forced. AOC was forced to vote for or against in an amendment, Iron Dome funding, and she decided to vote for it by voting against the amendment. She was prompted of her opinion. She was forced to give a stance, to give a perspective on an issue, and she chose wrong. She chose the immoral issue, or the stance on the issue, I should say. But why though? Because she supports funding the Iron Dome. People exploding this false messaging that I voted for a bill plus funding that I quite literally voted no on. This is disingenuous. This is not what people are criticizing her for. The threat environment this morning is scary. Doesn't help anyone. Drag me for the position if you disagree, but don't lie. It's out of control. Saying I voted for this funding is false. It's not people saying you voted for this funding. It's that you didn't vote against the specific provision towards the Iron Dome. You didn't express disapproval of the specific Iron Dome funding. Yeah, I don't appreciate this. It's scary rhetoric. You support providing military armaments to a genocidal ethno-state. I think that for this, you were receiving legitimate criticism. I don't think it's right to disingenuously frame your critics here, okay? And I am very often here of the opinion that people are overly critical of AOC. I know for a fact that oftentimes she gets undue criticism, okay? But on her support for the Iron Dome, which has been demonstrated over years and is now continued to be held, and this is just another expression of it, it's pretty indefensible. There are people saying she voted for the funding, though. Okay, there are many people who don't understand what's going on, but I think that ignoring the real criticism to focus on the ill-informed people is bad faith. If there are people offering legitimate criticisms of AOC about her support for the Iron Dome, and she decides to ignore those and go after the people who are just saying she voted in favor of the spending package, isn't what Mamdani said, where if you agree with 9 of 10, then we can move on? No, what he said is that if you agree with 9 of 10 issues on him, you should vote for him. That does not mean you shouldn't criticize people who are a part of your movement for supporting Iron Dome funding to Israel. It's especially her bad faith response to it. The response does make it worse. She's going to learn the wrong lessons. Maybe. She does seem to be, I don't know, pretty reactive sometimes. Are you reading a little too much into it? No. I don't, what am I reading too much into? She explicitly has stated she supports Iron Dome funding. I think that's morally disagreeable. She is disingenuously responding to criticisms of her. I don't feel I'm reading too much into it at all. She's becoming less and less of a fighter. She hasn't fought in a while. The fight right now is with the Democrats, and she is not willing to take a stand on these issues. It's pretty frustrating. Has she issued any messaging on this that's not on Twitter? The news said she would issue a response later. Of course she does well on Blue Sky. Lib Paradise over here. Instagram AOC. Yeah, she's posted it everywhere. Look at this, dude. 135k likes on Insta. She's signal boosting it everywhere. Girl, that's not the amendment we're referring to. Please practice transparency and explain why you voted against the newest MTG bill. Well, amendment. That's what we wanted an answer on, because it looks like you voted for money to continue to flow to Israel and genocide in Gaza. Providing funding to the Iron Dome is providing money for Israel and for genocide. Saying she isn't doing anything is a dumb lie. She's one of the most aggressive fighters in Congress, and when they aren't in session is doing rallies and town halls. What is she fighting for right now, then, out of curiosity? Because right now it seems to me like the main fight that we need to be fighting is against the centrist Democrats, the people who refuse to endorse Mamdani, the people who are keeping congressional Democrats from doing their jobs, the people who aren't leading the Democrats to engaging in expressions of their congressional oversight authority and looking at the federal detention centers that the ICE agents are currently gulagging people in. Look at her story. Click the PFP unk. I appreciate that because I really don't know how Insta works. It took a village, but Jackson Heights finally has a ramp at the post office. Okay, that's great, and I'm happy to hear that. But I'm talking about the national left pushback to centrist Democrats, okay? Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are feeding us into a meat grinder, all right? They are allowing this country to be torn limb from limb as long as they're continuing to prevent lefties from taking power, all right? We need meaningful... AOC is more influential than either of them. Keep going through the story, lol. Okay. And then there's this, which she's posted elsewhere. And then there's... What am I meant to be looking for here? What, didn't we... It's the same thing as before. Straight up lying about my vote for clicks. I don't know, man. There's a real commitment among some on the left to literally lie about my vote record and hope if they repeat something... It's just complaining about the left. I've seen this pattern play out before when the tweet doesn't hit. Yeah. I don't want to hate on Bernie, but I think he's a bad influence when it comes to fighting on Dems. Yeah, I think I agree. I think that Bernie Sanders' approach of capitulation made more sense in 2016 and made some sense in 2020. But I think that right now, active antagonism against the Democrats, keep in mind, the Democrats are like unprecedentedly unpopular right now. Like nobody likes the party. Bernie is more popular than the party. AOC is more popular than the party. Like they should be directing their energy at gutting out, hollowing out, and then refilling the party, like going after their leaders. Use your popularity. How else will we beat the Republicans? Not with these Democrats. Jesus. She just did a town hall in Elise Stefanik's district. I get you want her to burn Schumer and Jeffries, but just because her strategy right now is different doesn't mean she's doing nothing. No, it does. It does mean that. Yeah, that is what I want them to do. I do not want socialists to get it. In an era where liberalism is crumbling and fascists are winning, I do not elect socialists to office so that they can get ramps installed in front of community offices. I do not elect socialists so they can do a slightly better job managing the bureaucratic and representative needs and expectations of their office. I want them to fix the problem. Yes, I have high expectations for them. That's the job. Sorry. Like, I mean, we have to have high expectations here. We need to affect change. We can't just accept, oh, well, they're doing town halls. That's great. Why the f isn't AOC attacking the Democrats? Zeno, I know we're not going to agree on this because you're nonstop essay posting your disagreement. You're just wrong on this. I'm sorry. And you're posting essays. You aren't her constituent, Vosh. Irrelevant to the point. This is feeling like the meme of Dems have to be perfect. Nope, Dems don't have to be perfect. It would be nice, though, if AOC used her, again, literally the most popular Democrat, like the largest soapbox in the entire party, to do anything about the establishment Democrats that are allowing the party to sink into the abyss. When did all of you become such bitches? When did all of you accept such low standards for the people who are supposed to help? You're all parasocial. You just like AOC. Can you admit it? I like AOC too, less now than before. But my beliefs about what she should or shouldn't do. We're not motivated by this parasocial desire to see her rewarded for being one of the better ones. Her job is to fight tirelessly over and over and over again until it exhausts her and she quits. That's the job of a politician. You're not there to relax. You're not there to get accolades. You're not there to be rewarded, certainly not from the left perspective, okay? You're there to fight until you can't, and then somebody else picks up the slack. So stop with it. You're expecting too much. She's saying nothing. They're accepting less, and that's how you get centrist Dems? Yep. Anything but criticizing Schumer. How do you search on a person's profile? How do you search to see stuff they've said? Hold on. Oh, from AOC. That's right. That's right. Sorry, I don't know how computers work. Jesus, is this it? There's no way this is it. On Twitter, from AOC Schumer, March 5th, 2019, May 12th, 2021, December 19th, 2017, January 22nd, 2021. Latest? Oh yeah, latest. That's right. Oh yeah, March 12th, 2021, Jan 22nd, 2021, March 5th, 2019, December 19th, 2017, December 8th, 2017. She has 2 accounts? Okay. Okay. The other one probably has more, because that's far too low. Fine, yeah, okay, we'll look at the other one. Yeah, the rep AOC. Yeah. Because that's her personal account. And then here's her substantially less popular, like less than 1/10 of the followers, rep AOC account. We're talking about that one? Okay, sure. Rep AOC, Schumer. Wow. March 10th, 2022. July 29th, 2021. Oh, that's it. We're between her 2 accounts. We're like almost up to 1 post a year mentioning the House majority, now minority, or Senate majority, now Senate minority leader. There might be more mentions if you include like ats. Like if you like, rather than you see Schumer, you have ats, but try Jeffries. I'm just going to try in her main account because again, it has more than 10 times as many followers. Last mention of Jeffries was from 2023. But there's still probably the right? Oh, brother. Twitter search is such dog shit. Yeah, it is. I feel like I'm getting misrepresentative answers here a little bit, but it still speaks to the point. Here, at Rep Jeffries. What about that? Nope. From her main account, she's only added Jeffries twice. You guys really think this is okay? Do you really think, is this real? Like, to the people who think I'm being too hard on her, you really think this is okay? It's very, very, very obvious that whatever like mental doctrine she's been given about promoting her ideology in Congress, she has accepted that she cannot attack the Democrats because she doesn't. She feels compromised. I don't really think that she's I don't think she's like money compromised. I think she's ideologically compromised. You know, I wonder if it's a Bernie thing. I wonder like how much messaging she's been given, or how many times she's been told like, listen, you have a chance at doing something here, but you have to not rock the boat too much. And it just made her like weak, you know? I tried mobile search and yeah, she doesn't talk much about it either. Yeah, it's pretty bad, pretty rough. I don't know. It's a little grim. It's a little bit grim. It's a little disappointing. Vosh, you have a huge platform. You could literally be doing the same thing. Critiquing Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer? I never thought of that. Interesting. I'll consider doing that in the future. Well, you're welcome to the stream. It must be your first day. What's Ilhan Omar's position? Well, Ilhan Omar voted in favor of Marjorie Taylor Greene's amendment and has made it clear many times she does not support Iron Dome funding. So that pretty much does it right there, huh?